Hi, everybody. This is Erica from In the Company of Cards back again to read Lenormand for you and with you. Uh, Welcome to the Thursday edition. I've got a bunch of things that I wanted to look at today, so let me give you a little bit of a heads up on what those issues are and, uh, and then start. So I want to look a little bit at the Ghislaine Maxwell situation. Um, I want to look at the defamation suit filed against Candace Owens by the Macrons, the first couple of France. Uh, I want to look at France's newly declared stance towards Palestine, and I want to look at some of the resistance that's going on in Israel that gives me some hope. I want to look at the border dispute between Cambodia and Thailand just to see whether this can be nipped in the bud or whether it's going to escalate into something else. I want to look at Pam Bondi and Pete Hegseth and see whether they are long for the political stage or whether somebody's getting the hook out for them. And then I have a comment for a viewer. So I'll save that for last. Okay. So as you probably know, today, uh, the second number two person at the DOJ went to see Ghislaine Maxwell. He happens to be a close personal friend of Maxwell's attorney, which is interesting. And so I thought the first question that I would look at was, what is the real point of this man having gone to visit, to depose, to ask questions of Ghislaine Maxwell? What was really the point of that? Well, what was his intention? So we'll use the older man for him because I want to know what was his intention. Obviously, he was given his marching orders by his boss, Pam, um, but I just want to see what was his intention. Okay, so we're just going to cut, and then we're going to look for him. He's not old, but oh well, I'm still using the older man. You know, he's got some gravitas, he's got high status as second at the DOJ, so I'm going to use the older man for him. Boy, very deep in the deck. So this is the person from the DOJ who went to visit Ghislaine Maxwell today. Oh, okay. Well, very clear. We have the moon, we have Clover, we have him, we have the star, and we have the bouquet. So, I mean, I suspect he blew some smoke saying, you are a big player in this whole situation. And we would like to um, have a good relationship with you. And here he is. And we would like to, um, discuss what you know, and your answers will have some bearing on your future, because if your answers are what we want them to be, you will be rewarded. So, what does rewarded mean? It would mean a reduction in sentence or a commutation or a pardon altogether. But anyway, it's as though they want to get her on side. So that's hardly surprising, but it's very interesting when the cards corroborate what seems to be the case. But further, I would like to know, how did that meeting go? So I'm just shuffling those cards back into the deck. And then I want to know, how did the meeting go? And so for meeting, you know by now that that's birds. And so we're going to use birds. You know, the Democrats said that they thought Democrats should be able to be at that meeting. Um, but anyway, she's meant to, well, we'll get to that in a minute. As far as I know, it was between these two people. There might have been some other representatives from the government there, but they were all, you know whose people in that room with her. So, how did it go? So, we're going to look for birds, and that will stand for the meeting. Okay. Yeah, this is the meeting that took place in a Tallahassee courtroom, I was told, or courthouse. Okay, so how did the meeting go? We have mice, sorry, we have the sun, we have the birds, we have the whip, and we have the dog. You know, interesting. Uh, it's interesting to have the mice here as the first card, particularly because of the card that I can mirror it with. You can't mirror every card with every other card. In a five-card spread, I can mirror the first card with the last card, and I can mirror the second card with the fourth card. What does mirror mean? It just means I'm allowed to look at those two cards together and draw some conclusions that I might not otherwise be able to draw. I cannot mirror this card with any of the other cards in the line, but I can mirror the first card, which is mice, with the last card. And the last card, remember, is dog. This feels to me very much carrot stickish. Like, in other words, on the one hand, they wanted to put the fear of God in her because the message is, we hold your fate in our hands, whether you are sprung out of here or not. So fear, but at the same time, the carrot, right? So you've got um, what's the opposite of the carrot? I forgot what's the expression. Anyway, the stick. So the stick is, yeah, you need to be afraid of us because we hold all the power, Ghislaine or Ghislaine, or however you pronounce your name. You're not a good person, but anyway, we hold the power. But if you play your cards right, we can be your friend. It was manipulative. You know, she herself is manipulative. So I suspect the conversation was transactional, you know. I don't know if it was quite as overt as the president would like to offer you a pardon, but it definitely, from the previous reading that I just did, it was implied. But here, it's the carrot and the carrot and the stick. Yeah, yeah, be afraid of us, but also know we can be your worst enemy, but we can be your best friend too. This was made very clear to her. Second card is the sun. And I can mirror the sun with our fourth card. Here it's the whip. I think that this was a very difficult encounter for her. I think they really held her feet to the fire. I think that they made very clear what answers they wanted her to give and what answers they did not want her to give. The whip is a card for discipline. So I think that it was probably rapid fire questioning without a whole lot of room for her to hedge her responses. Um, And it was also to get her in line, whip. And it was very clear to her that they want to get her in line. Okay, so that's how that went. Um, now, uh, she will be testifying, probably video testifying, to Congress, to a committee in Congress that will be comprised of Democrats, of course, and Republicans. And, uh, you know, it's not like she can't take the fifth, and it's not like she can't be held liable for perjury if she doesn't tell the truth. And what is the truth? You know, there's the truth that 47's people want her to tell, and then there's uh, whatever the real truth is, you know, and there's probably all kinds of unspoken things in the middle. So I guess what will happen when she testifies in front of Congress? And I think I think I'll use the birds for that too. So this time it's not the meeting today, it's the meeting coming up, and I think it's in at some point in August, like the middle of August. So we're going to use birds again, and we want to know how the meeting will go when Ghislaine Maxwell is deposed by a congressional committee. Again, we're looking for birds, right? Okay, so this is the August meeting where Ghislaine Maxwell will be deposed in a congressional committee. All right, so we have the key, we have the snake, birds is in the middle, anchor, and lily. So, I'm sure that the committee will think, well, we're going to get to the bottom of this, and she faces perjury charges if she doesn't come clean. So this is how we get our answers. But it's going to be problematic because her testimony, she didn't give any real information during her trial. But at this point now, because of the meeting today, her testimony will be compromised. You know, snakes are not good here. This is the meeting. And then these last two cards, I think, are interesting. Anchor. I think she will stick to what she has, at the very least, tacitly agreed to say today. She will do what the administration wants her to do because, she will want to keep them happy, pacified. Uh, there might be a lot of, I don't know, I don't remember, I couldn't tell you, I'm not sure who, you know what I mean? Um, now I can mirror the first card with the last card. So here is our key and here's our lily. I expect, therefore, because of this lily, no bombshells from whatever it is that she says to Congress. because she will have received her marching orders today. Uh, and I can mirror the snake with the anchor. I think she will be intransigent. And again, she'll have to couch it in a certain way. She can't say stuff like, I'm not going to answer that because she cannot take the fifth. She'll have to say things like, I don't remember, it was a long time ago. Who, yeah, no, she'll have to obfuscate and try to get out of it. But I think she will, again, stick to what she's been ordered to do today. I drew clarifiers only on the anchor and the lily. So the clarifiers for the anchor are the ship, the older man, and the sun. When the anchor is lifted, the ship can proceed apace. And I think she wants her anchor lifted so that she can get out of jail and go back to Europe or whatever. She wants to make you know who happy. We have the lily, and the clarifiers are the fish, the ring, and here's Ghislaine Maxwell herself. You know, um, because of money, interests, because of uh, emotional, what? I mean, she is central to all of the action. She's a really bad actor. I mean, I guess I'll say entertainment purposes only and allegedly, but a court of law adjudicated her a bad actor, sexual predator. Um, she will stick to what she's promised today to 47's assistant uh, DOJ head, and that's what she'll do. And she will think that this will um, be her ticket out because I always mirror this last card with whatever the first card is. So just like a lot of people are thinking that she's the ticket, she is the missing link, she's the one who can answer questions. She's thinking, I'm going to be my own ticket out of this hellhole of a jail I'm in Tallahassee. So she will do as she's told. Now, one final question around her. Will she be uh, given a reduced sentence, a commuted sentence, a pardon, or will she be unalived? Because, there's a lot of people. I read an article about this recently. It was a Substack article someone had written, and I thought, when you add them up, there's kind of a lot of people who are um, directly or tangentially uh, involved in this whole scenario who are currently dead and unalive for a lot of very odd reasons, you know, suicides and falls and things like that. Mm. So I just want to know what is what will come of Elaine. Now again, time is mutable. I'm just reading cards here. I'm just looking at the energy as it stands right now. Uh, but I'm also projecting into the future, all things being equal, and this timeline being the one that's adhered to, and that's questionable. What will be her fate? What will happen? Will she go, I don't know, sailing off into the Mediterranean? Uh, will she also be unalived, as so many have? Will she get a reduced sentence? Will she be sent to, I mean, what will, if they commute or reduce her sentence, well, New York could charge her. Oh, and then she gets to go to state prison. And I suspect that that's even less fun than a federal pen. So I've heard. So what will happen to her? Looking for the older woman, and that will stand for Ghislaine. One of the things that I don't know if you've noticed, I've certainly noticed it. 47 is a transactional type of guy. That's true. But he also doesn't keep his promises. So, for example, he's notorious for stiffing contractors, you know, making a deal that he's going to pay them in return for X work. They do X work and then they get stiffed. They don't get paid. Mm, I could see him dangling a pardon or some kind of commutation or reduction in sentence to get Ghislaine to go say what they want her to say, and then acting like he doesn't know who she is when it comes time for his end of the bargain. It would be absolutely in character. So the cards echo that. So we have the young man, the key, here's Ghislaine, here's clouds, and then the tower. Here's what I think, and well, before I say, I want to pull a clarifier or two. Um, mm, so, interesting. We have the young man, the key, Ghislaine, the clouds, and the tower. Okay. I will say that this young man card felt a little ominous to me. There are lots of ways that you can be unalived. Um, now come to find out, there wasn't a minute missing on the Epstein tape of his prison cell. There were almost 3 minutes missing. You can do a lot to a person in 3 minutes. Uh, I think um, she would be right to be afraid in new ways about being in jail with other people who can be induced to take certain actions against her. Uh, Now, the key is the second card. And again, keys are answers, etc. What we're looking at is what will happen with her. Look at the card. I can clarify it with, I can mirror it with the clouds. There is no guarantee one way or the other that she will, either skate scot-free or be put under the jail or put in a box. It's all very cloudy, nebulous. Uh, I can mirror also with this young man, the tower. I feel like something could happen to her in prison. This is prison. Now, I did draw clarifiers on this young man, and the clarifiers are the letter, the rider, and the cross. I just I think she'll really be living in fear. Uh, this could be somebody's instructions, if you know what I mean, that they were given to do her ill. I also drew clarifiers on her, and we have the ship, the book, and the moon. I mean, obviously, she would love to be sprung from jail, but she really is between a rock and a hard place. She really doesn't know. I suspect after that meeting, even though she kind of got her marching orders in terms of what she should and should not say in front of a congressional committee, um, she is in the dark as to what they think of her. She's asking herself, did I say what they wanted me to say? Did I say enough of the right thing? Um, do they trust that I will do their bidding when it comes to the congressional committee? And what's the committee going to think of me? I don't want to be accused of committing perjury, even though that's probably what I'm going to do. So she really doesn't know where she stands, if she'll get out, etc. Like, I don't think they gave her a hard and fast guarantee. I think it was just, again, the stick and the carrot that they dangled in front of her. So now we have clouds which follow her, and this is just, there's a lot of doubt swirling around what her future is. And sadly for her, that's followed also by the snake. And then we have the birds and crossroads. Now, this is interesting as birds is the card that I've been using for meetings, right? First, the one today with the DOJ, but also this was the card that I used for meetings with the congressional committee. So, um, things could go any number of ways because that's what Crossroads is. It's alternatives, it's choices, etc. Uh, things are just very, very up in the air. But I would say that I don't love the snake for her here. I mean, I do because she's a bad person, but I think this does not bode well for her. And then we have finally the tower, and the clarifiers are clover, tree, and child. Okay, this is jail. I do think it looks like her sentence will be shortened. This is shortened. This is that 20-year long sentence that she got. And I'm not sure but what she may be sent to a new prison. I've heard that the one that she's in is one of those, camp fed type jails that are not as bad as some could be. You get my drift? But she may be sent to an even better place, or they shorten the sentence. Um, because I don't think he would release her prior to his leaving office. It would be one of those things that he does on his way out. So she still would have some time to serve. And, it's a thing. I mean, people are not going to, his base are going to say, wait, you what? You pardoned whom? They must be so confused. But I think she gets a shortened sentence. But I also think she she's in danger in prison. But I mean, wouldn't we all be in danger in prison? Uh, she's in a difficult spot. Oh well, think of all those young girls whom she put in a difficult spot, we'll just say. Because who's looking out for them? Who's listening to their stories? Who is working in their interests? Okay. So the next thing I wanted to do is to look at Pam Bondi. I've looked at her a couple of times, few times, and I have seen her coming out smelling like a rose, going into, private industry, sitting on a board or something, and making tons of money for no work as a reward for services rendered. Um, I know that 47 is very fond of her, very grateful to her. She is a transactional person as much as he is. She's kind of a female version of him, entertainment purposes only, and allegedly. Um, but the base is hot on her heels. The base wants her blood. And so I'm just going to look again and see. Well, she bailed on a conference that she was supposed to attend. She was going to talk about human trafficking and what the DOJ is doing to eradicate it. And it was at CPAC, which is a conservative organization. It's like a think tank kind of whatever. Uh, and she bailed. That's interesting. So, what's going to happen with Pam? Is she going to be sacrificed at the altar? I don't know. Let's see. So, we're going to use the older woman for her. What is Pam Bondi's future looking like? I don't want to pull a ton of cards on her. I feel like this is enough for now. I may look at this question again, but we have the young man, the fox, Pam Bondi, the heart, and 47. I mean, she's his she does his bidding. I'm just going to say. I'm sure for a price, and when I say price, I do mean money. They are a transactional pair, these two. He thinks she's loyal. She's loyal to whatever she gets in return for being loyal. That's what she's loyal to. Uh, she is uh, slippery and canny and like a fox, not to be trusted. He likes all of that about her. She's also really aggressive. I also think she's not above uh, throwing compliments his way that make him feel like he used to feel when he was hanging out with Epstein. Young, virile, powerful, etc. So I still think Pam Bondi will be just fine. That her consequence may not be meted out until she meets her maker. Uh, okay. I was going to look at Pete Hegseth. There's been new information about the fact that his signal uh, conversations did, in fact, of course, as we already figured out, include classified information that specifically said on there, no foreign, no foreign eyes on this. So, but, again, in Trump's mind, he is central casting, and if he's not been gone yet, uh, I think he'll be able to hang on a little more. So I'm not going to read on him. I don't want to waste my energy and my cards on that. Someone else I'm not a fan of is Candace Owens. For those of you not in the know, she is a Black conservative, very odd person. um, a lot of us in the Black community have zero respect or affection for Candace Owens. She's a she's a sycophant. She's a mean girl, uh, and she uses her. hmm, how can I put this? I don't know. She's like the darling of the MAGA set because they can pull her out and see it and say things like, "See, we have a Black person that's MAGA." You know what I mean? And she lets herself be used in that way. Well, anyway, she thinks she's smart. She thinks she's cute, and she went too far. So she has, for some considerable time, been accusing The hold on, let me just make sure I want to get the first name. Um, right. Yes, Brigitte Macron, who is the First Lady of France, the wife, the much younger, I mean, much older, granted, wife of Macron, the president, of being a man. She's essentially saying that Brigitte Macron was born a man and is, I don't know, cross-dressing or something, or is trans or whatever. I mean, whatever she's doing, she's insulting trans people, cross-dressing people, and Brigitte Macron, who is not neither. She's neither. So, Macron and his wife, I mean, the first couple of France, have filed a defamation suit against Candace Owens. And I want to know, I mean, I think that's great. And I want to know what's going to happen with that suit. What will the court decide? So we will use the tower as the court, and we want to know what will the court decide in this defamation suit. So remember, we're looking for, oh, okay, the tower. There's only one card in front of it, so I'm gonna put that there. And then uh so we have the moon, the tower ends up being the second card, but look what ends up being the third card, fish. That's important. We have the young man and we have the dog. So here's what I think. Uh, this is Madame Macron's reputation. What are you talking about? Like, why would you do something like this, Candace Owens? Like, mind your business. You're so weird. This is a defamation case. Uh, the card I can mirror it with is the dog, and that's the card for lawyers. Um, this is the court, and I feel like this is Macron saying, "You're not going to step to my wife like that. In fact, because the center card is what it is, you're going to pay." I think she will lose, and I think she will have to pay money. Now, let's draw a couple of clarifiers to see what we get. So, I'm definitely wanting to draw here. Yeah, with that key there, the clarifiers for the fish are the house, the birds, and the key. Um, I drew a little bit more clarifiers than I intended, but that's okay. So remember that our original line is the moon, which is Brigitte Macron's reputation. The tower happened to come second. I wanted it to be in the middle. It didn't come in the middle, but that's fine. It stands for the court who's going to make the decision. In the center is fish. Fish stands for money damages here. And then we have the young man, and this to me is the this French couple saying, you're going to step to me, call me this, imply this about, no, we're going to slap you back into place via lawyers, which is dog, the fifth card. So I ended up drawing clarifiers on everything. This is Brigitte Macron's reputation. She's been publicly, you know, harmed, damaged, hurt. I mean, it's malicious. What are you doing? Like, why? What are you doing, Candace Owens? So this is the claim, is that damage was done to her. Okay, in a public way with that sun there. Here's the court. Clarifiers are the book, the bear, and the snake. I think the court's going to be like, first of all, why are you doing this, Candace? Like, what are you doing? Except to be a bully and to cause harm. I mean, there's no mitigating argument that Candace Owens can possibly make to defend herself. Okay, then we have fish. Clarifiers are house, birds, and key. So there will be money damages. I hope she loses her house, Candace Owen, but she will certainly be talked about. And I can mirror this fish with this key. I think the money damages are going to be enough to really hurt her. Good. We have this young man, and the clarifiers are clover, anchor, and then mice. I just think that this is the Macrons taking matters into their hands by going to the court and suing her. I think that they will have a happy result here, um, and that to the degree that Brigitte has been harmed and weighted down by this BS allegation, the mice nibble away at that anchor so that Brigitte feels lighter of spirit and vindicated. So that's good. Um, we have the dog and we have clarifiers are the mountain, the lily, and the rider. So, among other things, the lawyers will be making the case that Candace Owen not only needs to pay money, but she needs to cease and desist, stop this maligning of the First Lady of France. Uh, so that will be the message that she gets from this fine that she will have to pay. And so that Brigitte, in the end, I can mirror this last card with the first card, can be at peace in regard to her reputation. Candace Owens going to be the one who's going to have to dig her reputation out of the mud. And Brigitte Macron can live her best life. Okay, so that's good. Glad to see that outcome. I wanted to do that kind of detail just to make sure that Owens would be duly punished. I think she will. Kind of a la, what's that guy? The guy, the Sandy Hook guy, the guy who said that Sandy Hook was not a thing and now has to pay millions and millions of dollars of restitution to those families. I mean, why? I guess people have nothing better to do. All right. I wanted to look also, speaking of France, France has said that they are going to be recognizing um, Palestine as a state, and that's great. Also, they will be giving asylum to Palestinian refugees, people seeking refuge. And I'm curious as to whether um, this stance on the part of France will move the needle any. I mean, the US is in a disgusting position of its own making by backing Israel in its genocide. I mean, is there any other way to put it? Uh, and the photographs are horrific. The accounts are awful. There are doctors who are saying, I'm working in these hospitals trying to save these lives, and then I go home and I have to see if I can find flour to feed my children. I'm hungry too, and my children also are starving. So, Israel, this is the lesson that you learned from the Holocaust? Hmm. Anyway, what I want to know is, will France's uh, championing of the Palestinian right to exist, um, hold on, I have a call. Will that move the needle and cause other nations to take a similar stance in a really overt way? So, I mean, vive la France, très bien fait. Um, may others follow your lead. Also, I think I'll put this in the same basket. Look at the question, these two questions together. The other thing that's happened is that thousands of Israeli students are burning their draft documents. Now, I don't know if you're all aware of this, but a lot of you are. The fact that Israel has mandatory conscription, which means that when you reach your age of majority, you have to do 2 years of military service. Men and women, girls and boys have to do this. So the idea that thousands of people are burning their draft documents, and then when they're asked why, they're saying because Israel is committing genocide. I'd like to know what effect will uh, these two facts have moving forward. One is France's very compassionate stance um, towards refugees and towards the Palestinian people, and then Israel's young people saying we're not participating in this. Uh, what message will that send to the Israeli government and to the United States government? Because, like I say, we are covered in shame around this. So I think I'll use the rider because the rider is the message. What message will be received? Ooh, deep in the deck. There it is. Okay, this is the message that will be received by the actions of France and the young people of Israel who are not trying to participate and approve of this genocide. Mm, okay. Ooh, the sun is streaming in here. It's hot. Sorry. Okay, the cards are the scythe, the tower, the rider, the star, and the whoops, get it up without making it fall, the woman. So what did I say? I want to, you don't want to get them out of order. The scythe, the rider, no, the scythe, the tower, the rider, the star, and the woman. So the scythe together with the tower. Israel is a killing government, a murderous government. If you don't like what I'm saying, come for me. Or better yet, go someplace because this is not the channel for you. They are a genocidal government. Cards say it. I'm saying it, yeah, but the cards are agreeing. So, this is the message that will be the takeaway that they are perceived in this way. And in the future, moving forward, this will end up, not making them look strong and powerful, but weak and mean and as evil as the people who did this to them, you know, 60 years ago. All right, let's go back and look at the scythe. Clarifiers are the young woman, the snake, and clover. So again, this is the killing. I think that these are young people saying this is a problem for us, and we want something done now, to the point that we're burning our draft cards. This is the Israeli government. Clarifiers are the moon, and remember that this is the card for reputation. Coffin and whip are the clarifiers. So, in terms of Israel, the Israeli government's reputation, it's in the toilet, and they are being uh, just pilloried around the world for what they're doing. Rider clarifiers are the birds, the house, and the mountain. So, what is the message? Well, people are going to talk about who they are, who they've proven themselves to be, and they will be they're going to become a pariah nation where the rest of the world will not want to have anything to do with them. Kind of the way the US is becoming a pariah nation. All right. So then we have the star, and the clarifiers are the letter, clouds, and crossroads. You know, the future, Israel, the government anyway, will say that their position is written. It's written that we are the chosen, that we are the people of the light, and the Palestinians are the people of the dark. They're convinced of this. And frankly, I don't think that they're willing to look at things another way, which is why, again, in the end, they will become a pariah nation. Uh, Final card is the woman. Clarifiers are the garden, the bear, and the sun. I think they will find themselves disempowered, uh, and the public will see very clearly that they are not beleaguered and besieged and hunted. They are the beleaguer. They are the besiegers. They are the hunters. And they're a death dealing government. It will be very clear if it's not already. You cannot be both the oppressed and the oppressor. I said this a long time ago in a Substack post where there was a Jewish actress and she was really mad that Black people were not siding with Israel. What? Black Americans, too, have had a history of oppression in this country. But our takeaway was not, let's kill people, let's shoot children in their crotches and in their brains. Let's starve babies. That was not our takeaway. Our goal is always to be on the side of the oppressed. You cannot be both at the same time. And so I do see that Israel will become a pariah nation. Again, maybe the US along with them, unless enough of us wake up. But to have a Holocaust with our name attached to it is just shameful and evil and wrong. And good for France. Again, vive la France. Very good. Well done. And hopefully your action will encourage others to follow suit. Uh, Finally, oh no, one more, and then finally. So one more. I just wanted to look at this border dispute that's going on between um, Thailand and Cambodia. And I just want to see what's going to happen with that. So right now it's a dispute. I mean, it's a dispute, but there has been violence as part of the dispute. So I'm going to use the whip, and that will stand for this dispute. And I want to just see what the trajectory of that is. Um, can it be tamed, toned down, or will it escalate? Because nobody's got time for that. War between Thailand and Cambodia. All right, so we're looking for the whip, and this will be that border dispute. And okay, so here's the whip. Okay, so the cards that come before it. All right, this is just energy in the moment, but I feel a little bit optimistic. We've got the mice, we've got stork, whip, box, and birds. The birds is getting a big workout today. Uh, so, people are worried, nervous, anxious, and therefore they're going to want for there to be talks, conversations about this. Can we fix this before it turns into something that we don't need it to turn into? I do think that things will get better, um, thanks to some third party, because this is the card for foreigners. So someone who is a third party, not Cambodia or Thailand, who will weigh in and try to establish peace. So I drew some clarifiers on this card, and sure enough, we've got the lily, the moon, and the letter. This feels like some sort of pact that is arrived at, so that each country can save face and there can be peace between them. And I think this will be thanks to some uh, third party foreign actor who acts as a go-between. And then we have finally our birds, and the clarifiers are the rider, the tower, and the ring. Again, there will be meetings, um, peace talks, and the message will be, each of you is autonomous and worthy of respect, and let's make a pact, a commitment, a contract to you know your land is your land, this land is my land, it's not our land, and we'll try to keep the peace. So I hope, I don't think in this moment that it will escalate. I think some foreign actor, I don't know who, I don't know whether China, Australia, New Zealand, I don't know, maybe some combination of foreign actors will come in and try to quell this dispute. And then finally, So I wrote a Substack yesterday. If you're not following me on Substack, you may want to do that. It has nothing to do with YouTube. It's, www.substack.com. Just look for In the Company of Cards. I write there every Wednesday. So I got an email yesterday after I posted my most recent article from someone named Judy. I will leave her last name uh, off. And this, this is what she wrote me. She said, keeping racism out of Lenormand would be refreshing. Racism? I think she means race, that she doesn't want me to talk about race, that she doesn't want me to use my cards to, to talk about the things on this platform that I have decided to talk about. So I wrote back to her and I said, may I suggest you seek refreshment other than at my table? And I don't think I have to say that to the vast majority of you who are here. And the table is growing, and I keep adding leaves to it. And, everyone who wants to be here, of course, is welcome. But when you make a case for yourself, arguing that you don't like the food I'm serving, there are other tables and there are other seats at other tables. You don't need to be here. So, anyway, Judy, that was for you. Uh, as for the rest of you, today's what, Thursday? Um, you may see me tomorrow. Fridays are always big news days, so I'll try to do a video tomorrow. It won't be as long as this one. And I may come back on Sunday as well. Uh, next well, next week on August 1st is when I'm going to be doing 2 hours of free readings. People keep asking me, how can they get on the list to be given a free reading? You can't get on the list. There is no list. All you do is you're going to show up at the appointed time, which I have yet to disclose, and I will be on live for 2 hours, and I will answer in the order that I receive them in the chat as many questions for people as I can. These won't be political in nature. Of course, these will be, people's personal questions. I'm not a doctor, so you may want to think twice about asking me about your health, and I'm not a lawyer, so legal questions. But anything else, I'm happy to look into. And each person will get probably a 5 card read, and I try to talk fast and get as many people as I can. This is my thank you to you for being such a wonderful audience. I mean, I know I just talked about the Judys of the world, but as you know, they are few and far between. Um, I think this is a beautiful community, and I'm grateful to you all for creating it with me. So this is going to be my little thank you. The first anniversary of the channel will be August 1st. So that's why I'm going to be doing these readings August 1st. That is a Friday. For those of you in this hemisphere, August 1st is a Friday. And I think that the time I've picked won't be great for Europe, but will be fine for everybody in the States and also in Australia if you're around during the day. I think you'll be able to get in on this as well. I know I have a lot of Australian viewers. If there are European viewers who would like me to do this at a time that is more convenient for them, if I thought there was a demand for that, I would add another hour on at a different time. But anyways, just be on the lookout for that. I'll announce it next week, the specifics. And in the meantime, have a great Thursday evening, and I'll see you probably tomorrow. Take care.